Hi, let's start discussing about sequences, okay? Sequences. What are them? Well, what is a sequence? What is it? A sequence, I would say that it is a bunch of numbers, lots of numbers, in a certain order, in a way that not only we know how those numbers relate to each other, but anyone else can know about it. There is a law relating each term to the next one. Okay, this law might not be something we know about it, but there is a law, and sometimes there isn't a law. Okay, and this law is going to open the secret behind that sequence and let us know how one term relates to the other. Let's suppose if I just write to you this sequence in here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I no longer need to put anything else. Why? Because it's pretty obvious that what is going on here is that we are just adding plus 1. And what are we going to call this plus 1? Well, this plus 1 we are going to call our law. But of course, it's not good to call a law, okay? In math we have some better definition about what is this law. This law we are going to say, we are going to name that law, okay? I'm going to say this law. We are going to name it as a general term. And this is what we're going to write in here. So our law, in this case, it is going to be our general term. Okay? And in this case, what would be our general term? Well, this is the first term, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Let's call this one, we represent by a letter A and sub n. That's how we call this term. Actually, since n in here equals 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth term, so n is 4. So we are going to say that this is the fourth term, like this, A4, A sub 4. And what is a general term for this sequence? The general term for this sequence, we're going to say that it is this an, and n goes from 1 to infinity. For instance, it could go from 1 to 10, 1 to 5. Okay, you can stop whenever you want this sequence. An, it is going to be a sub n minus 1 plus 1. Now let's stop for a second in here and let's see what is going on in here. This is going to be our general formula. What is going on? What is an? Let's suppose we are in here at the fourth term. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be a4. Let's write. This is going to be a4. Remember, not remember, taking notice that n, it is 4 for this case. Okay, we are at the fourth term, so a4, it is going to be what? N is 4, isn't it? Then a sub n minus 1, it is going to be what? 4 minus 1, because n is 4. So a3 plus 1. Aha! And then you realize, in order to know one term, we must know the previous one. So in order to write my sequence just using the general term, what you're going to do, we'll have to start from the first term. Okay, then what is just one thing? Okay, let's suppose we want to find out the first term. A1 equals A0. That's not possible. We don't have A0, right? So for this formula to be very well defined, we should add this information. This goes for n it is bigger or equal than 1. Okay? No, sorry, just bigger, right? It can't be 1. That's what I am saying. Okay? It can't be 1 because if it's 1, look, A1 equals A0 plus 1. We don't have A0. We don't have the 0 term. We have the first term. Okay? So this formula is going to work for n bigger than 1. It cannot be 1. And because with this formula it is only going to work for n greater than 1, we have to also state that A1 equals 1. We have to state if the formula, if the general term are going to work only for the second term onwards, we have to provide how much it is the first term. Okay, so let's suppose and this it is going to be the exercise. Let's suppose we have an exercise like this. Okay, this is an exercise, and let's suppose that we know the general formula for a sequence. It is equal to an equals a sub n minus 1 plus 1 as long as n is bigger than 1, and for that we have also to know that a1 equals to 1. Okay, great. Now let's just solve it in blue. Let's solve the exercise. Then a1 equals 1. It's given. a2, it is going to be what? a2. Now n equals 2. So a sub 2 minus 1 is 1, right? So a1 plus 1. But we know that a1 is 1, right? So substitute, it is 1 plus 1. This is 2. Now we know a2. Knowing a2, we can go to a3. a3, it is going to be now n, it is equal 3, the third term. And 3 equals a3 minus 1 is 2, a2 plus 1. I'm just following the formula. But a2 we have just found out. It is 2. 2 plus 1, it is 3. You see? And that's how we just go. We have discovered a1, a2, a3, and so on. And that is how we can find out what is our sequence. And this is a very simple sequence. I just start just to say what is a sequence. Well, we have some more complicated sequences. And now let's make some exercises. I'm going to write a few sequences in here using the general formula, and please pause the video, do it yourself, and then play the video again, okay? But try not just to follow the video, pause and try to write it down. Now, the first one I'm going to leave for you, it is going to be this. A sub n equals to 1 over n. The second one, it is going to be this one. an, it is equal to n squared. The third one is going to be an equals to 7 minus 3n squared. Okay, and n must be greater than 0, right? We cannot put 0 in here, okay? So I should write, and I'm going to, this works for n greater or equals than 1. Again, I have to specify, okay? 1, and again, for n bigger or equals than 1. I have to specify, okay? Because sometimes this general formula cannot be used for 1. And when it's not, it must be provided, okay? Now, please pause the video and try to do yourself. I'm just going to make the first one here. Let's make it blue. Now an, it is this. What is a1? It is going to be 1 over, if the sub it is 1, therefore it is 1 over 1. It is 1. I'm just going to make the first one. The second is up to you. And here, of course, the first one is very easy. Now a1 is going to be what? 1 squared, and so on. Okay, this is just 1. Now a1. No, not this one. I'm not going to do it. Okay, you have seen how you can do it. Please, I trust in you. Now please pause the video. Just press the pause button down there. Take a moment, write for yourself, and it's very important because this is something that we have to discuss in our classes. If you just follow the video, you are not going to understand. You think you understand, but you are not going to understand. To really check if you're really understanding, you have to pick up a pen, you have to write it down. Because we think we are smarter than we actually is. And when we know that we know something, and when we are putting to the test, and so okay, if you know it, go ahead, write it down. And then you said, oh my gosh, what is that? No, it's this. And we don't know it, okay? So, in order to check, please, take your time, write it down. I know it's easy, maybe it's not, it doesn't matter, but try to pause and do it. And then I come back. 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 200, 201. Okay, I think now you're ready. Okay, what is a2? A2 is going to, n it is 2. I'm going to the second term, so n it is 2 is going to be 1/2. What is a3? It is 1 over 3. Well, you got the picture, right? 1/4, and so on. So we're going to write our sequence. Let's just write our sequence in here. It is going to be 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, and continue. Okay? Now, for this one, a2 is going to be what? 2 squared. This is 4. a3 is going to be 3 squared, which is going to be 9, and so on, right? So our sequence is going to be what? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, and so on. Okay, now this one you have to do a little bit more math, but simple math. 7 minus 3 times 1 squared. This is 7 minus 3, which is 4. a2, it is going to be 7 minus 3 times 2 squared. And remember that for this for those sequences, they do not depend on the previous one. So if I wanted to know what is the 10th term, I just have to put a10 equals 100, right? a10 equals 1/10, and so on. But some sequences, we do need the previous one. Those are very simple one. And okay, so this is going to be 7 minus, this is 4, right? 2 squared, it is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so negative 12. 7 minus negative 12. Well, this is going to be negative 5. a3, it is going to be 7 minus 3 times 3 squared. Okay, this is going to be 27, right? Okay, negative 27 with a 7, this is negative 20. Let's just make one more. a4, it is going to be what? 7 minus 3 times 4 squared. And this is going to be what? This is going to be 16, right? Times 3. And this is going to be 48, right? Because 3 times 10, 30, plus 18, 38, 48, right? 48. So this is going to be, I'm going to write it down with lots of numbers, 7 minus 48. Okay, so how do I do this? I always do this. It's just a difference problem. I just take the signal from the biggest guy, negative, and just make the difference. This is going to be 41, negative 41, and so on. Okay, so what is going to be our sequence? It is going to be 4, then minus 5, minus 20, minus 41, and the good thing about this sequence is it's funny, right? Because if we just accomplish this one, 4 minus 4, then minus 5, it seems to be added negative 9, but if we just add a negative 9, we should get minus 14 and we get minus 20. So apparently this sequence seems that it is not a sequence. Just like I told you in the beginning, it is not because you don't know the law behind the connection between those terms that it doesn't exist. Okay, a sequence is defined because it has a rule, it has a general formula, but just because you don't know the formula, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, just one thing, notice this number down here. I just put it, okay, it wasn't before. I'm going to do this in our classes. We can just follow, okay, each sequence following, okay, the index, but also following this number. Okay, this is going to be the page number, just like a book, because the intention here is just to build like a home school, okay, for you, and so you can just follow this number. Okay, just like when you just read a book, and the same here. I'm going to try to make as close as possible to a book, because in my opinion this is the best way to see something, to learn.